Alzheimer's disease affects about 5 million people in the United States and 28 million worldwide. The cost of treating patients in the United States alone is over $250 billion each year. If Alzheimer's disease is a progressive disease, probably starting 20 or 30 years before the onset of symptoms, then we have to be able to identify those individuals long before they show any of these symptoms. We were fortunate to sit down with one of the world's leading research scientists, Dr. Huntington Potter, director of the Byrd Alzheimer's Institute at USF.
What we know about Alzheimer's disease today, basically 95% of it or 90% of it wasn't known 10 or 15 years ago. There are various ways that we're approaching this at the Byrd Alzheimer's Institute. We're looking at blood proteins that may change as they develop Alzheimer's disease. We're developing better and better cognitive tests of memory, execution, and we're using genetics to identify polymorphisms that may affect the disease and either increase its risk or decrease its risk.
Just like someone with high blood pressure or high cholesterol who is at risk for heart disease, once a person at risk for getting Alzheimer's disease is identified, then we can intervene and hopefully prevent them from developing it. So early diagnosis and risk assessment go hand in hand with the development of new treatments. By attacking the fundamental causes, there are several approaches to developing a cure for Alzheimer's. One is to recognize the amyloid deposits that occur by the millions in the brain of an Alzheimer's patient are bad. If we can eliminate them or prevent them from forming, this would be an effective therapy. A number of the drugs being developed and tested at the Institute do exactly that. Alzheimer's is a complex disease in which many steps must occur before memory problems become evident. According to Dr. Potter, it is probable that if any one of those steps is prevented, we could prevent the disease. He believes inflammation is a very good target for therapeutic intervention.
Alzheimer's disease has inflammation in the brain of the patient. If you could get rid of the brain inflammation, you could cure the disease even though you had the precursor to the amyloid present. And there are many anti-inflammatory drugs that are being tested now, both at the Byrd Alzheimer's Institute and elsewhere in the world, which show promise for helping Alzheimer's patients. The current drugs for Alzheimer's disease on the market today are called cholinesterase inhibitors. What they do is they prevent the neurotransmitter acetylcholine from being degraded in the brain. And that neurotransmitter is essential for memory. So what they do is they admit that there are cells that have died and there are connections that have died, and they try to make the few cells and few connections in the brain that are left work better. It's essentially a Band-Aid on a catastrophe. And as a result, the cholinesterase inhibitors only work to a small extent.
Dr. Potter and his staff are taking research in an amazing new direction. Could it be possible that in the end, Alzheimer's disease might be treated with something as simple as a good cup of coffee?
What we found is that the mice that get Alzheimer's disease can be prevented from getting the cognitive deficits and the brain deposits of Alzheimer's disease by pretreatment with caffeine. And if they already have Alzheimer's disease, then it can be reversed by treatment with caffeine.
An important recently discovered aspect of Alzheimer's disease is that mental stimulation throughout life affects the progression of the disease.
One thing is certain, putting an Alzheimer's patient in a chair in the corner of a nursing home and paying no attention to him can't be beneficial. This fact we've known for many years, but now with this new research, we have scientific backing.